Former media mogul Ron King traded his fast-paced life to open a sanctuary for donkeys. Ron noticed that as he aligned his life with God's will, he found joy in meaningful service.
Hello, everybody. Viejo. Hey, buddy.
My name is Ron King. I am the co-founder and CEO of Oscar's Place Adoption Center and Sanctuary, a donkey ranch in Northern California. Oscar's Place is a rescue center, rehabilitation center, and adoption center. So we rescue donkeys that are almost all essentially destined for slaughter. We bring them here, and then we will do everything in our power to give them a safe, healthy, and happy life for the rest of their life.
Good morning. How are you?
I find that there are people who are born with grace and humility, and then I find that there are those of us, like myself, that need to be shaken to our very core to get it. I was a media executive for about the last 20 years of my life. I ran 7 magazines. I was at fashion shows twice a year in Milan. I was on the road nonstop. My portfolio was about $506 million a year. So it was a completely different life. I mean, I really enjoyed my life. I had a friend call. He was coming to visit me. He said, I just landed at Santa Rosa. And I said, I just delivered a foal and I'm covered in placenta. I'm gonna take a shower and I'll be there as soon as I can. And his joke is that those are words he never thought would come out of Ron King's mouth. I was sort of doing this self-discovery of the difference between things that I enjoy and things that bring me joy. And really thinking through that helped me identify that driving a Mercedes AMG or going to fashion show or wearing Gucci suits every day, I really did enjoy those things, but I realized that none of those brought me joy. So on October 1st of 2020, I drove from LA to Hopland. I went out for a walk. There were no animals here. None of this outside development was here. Halfway through the walk, I thought, what is that feeling? And I stopped for a moment. I really tried to figure out what I felt, and what I felt was serenity. Then a couple days later, I saw a video of a woman at a rescue auction trying to save donkeys. She wanted to save all these donkeys, but she had nowhere to take them. A donkey had never entered my mind, ever. I didn't have a passion about donkeys. Then I started thinking about this exercise that I referenced earlier of the difference between things that I enjoy and things that bring me joy, thinking about impact. And I thought, animals bring me joy, having impact brings me joy. And it just all sort of hit me in the same day, this idea of surrender, this idea like maybe I don't know what's best. And maybe if I just shut up and get out of the way, what's supposed to happen in my life is gonna happen. And it did. Perhaps the way that God has designed this universe is that we are all meant to experience joy, and we're not letting it happen because we're so convinced we know what's supposed to happen. It's very scary to let that go. I mean, for me to not know how I'm going to afford to live the next 30 years, like letting go of a 401k was very scary, but I chose the search for joy over the search for comfort. So we got 3 donkeys, middle of December, to make sure this all worked. And then our first shipment came in January. Our next shipment came in May, and we're full-on, fully operational donkey rescue. I came into this very naively thinking, I have run massive businesses in my life. I mean, I have run some of the biggest magazines in the world. And I really thought this would be a walk in the park.
So Goose is a nibbler, and he will eat your camera. Everyone else is pretty sweet.
There have been many moments in the last 10 months where I have been terrified that I jumped in the deep end and I don't know how to swim. I have a very small but a very hardworking team. And we have divided responsibilities between healthcare, feeding, facilities, grounds, sanitation. We have a lot of poop to scoop every day. When we bring in new donkeys, we typically bring them in 25 or 30 at a time. Then our lives are turned upside down for 60 days. We have 30 new animals to learn. Many of them are sick. We have to go into a pretty severe quarantine protocol. We have to step in tubs of bleach going in and out of fields. We are testing and taking to the hospital. We have a responsibility to give them the right medications. We have lice treatments, parasites, babies being born in another pasture. Life as a farmer, like, no matter what your job is, 50% of your day needs to be hands-on donkey. Even if the poop's not scooped, you hang up your poop scooper and you put your hand on a donkey. Then the emotional rehabilitation starts, and that's different work. Every time human hands went towards these animals, or every time a halter was put on their head, they were led to something bad. And so it's not a natural thing for them to trust us with our hands or to trust us with the halter. So it's hard.
There you go.
When Patches arrived, he was part of a shipment of 36 donkeys in total. The trailers backed into the pasture, the donkeys unloaded. Patches did not unload. They took him off of the trailer and they set him on the ground, and then they drove away. When we picked him up, patches of his skin came off on my arms. He was literally disintegrating before us. When we have sick donkeys, donkeys that can't move, I have to make decisions. Do we euthanize, or do I invest $10,000 and hope he makes it? That's a very hard decision. It had been so long since he had eaten that his body had started to consume itself to produce energy. His eyes had sunken into the back of his head, and they said there's no way this animal's gonna make it. I said, if he hasn't died now, then put him on IVs, like let's give him a chance to make it. Don't take any drastic measures, but don't euthanize this animal. And he pulled through. And they said, because they are so strong-willed, that they really think it was his will and that strength that got him through. Patches has fully recovered. His skin has come back. He's gained his weight. He has a nice big fat hay belly.
Now he's permanently blind.
But he knows the sound of our voice. So I will go out with a chair and just sit in his stall. And I'll put his head in my hands and I'll just hold his head. And donkeys, when they relax, they exhale and their head gets really heavy. And that's when you know that they are completely comfortable.
Good morning. Oh, see, his head got real heavy. Good morning.
Patch's recovery taught me the strength of the will of the donkey. Like, he was committed to recovering. He just needed a little bit of an assist from some humans. So we gave him that assist and he recovered. I would like to think that God's grace for these animals is that they all survive human suffering and that they all get a taste of what it's like to feel the love and safety that they deserve. I'm very happy to be able to administer that for them, for the ones that make it here. They deserve it. They deserve to be loved and cared for.